Have you ever said, I'm just not that confident, that's not me, I can't do that? What if I tell you that sentence is the reason your life is never changed? Not your talent, not your looks, not your skills, and definitely not your circumstances. They are about something more powerful, your self-image. Right now, there is a silent identity living inside your mind. And that identity is making decisions even before you realize you are making them. Your self-image is controlling everything. It decides whether you try or give up, whether you speak or stay quiet, whether you believe a compliment or reject it, whether you go after what you want or convince yourself that you don't want it. You don't even realize it's happening because that version of you is outdated. And if nothing changes, you might too. Yes, you. Especially you. Because the biggest lie we tell ourselves is I will improve later. But the truth is, you don't behave a way into a new life. You imagine your way into one first. Because once your self-image changes, everything else follows. Stay with me. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it. Hello beautiful people. My name is Juhi. Welcome back to my channel. Right now, there is an idea in your mind about the kind of person you are. Maybe it's, I'm shy. I'm just not confident. I am awkward. And you probably think those are facts. They aren't. Those are stories. Stories repeated so many times, it started to feel like true. Let me ask you something. If someone spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, would you feel empowered or attacked? Because the voice in your head that may sound like you didn't started with you. It started with a teacher's comment, a rejection you couldn't understand, a time someone laughed, a moment you felt embarrassed, and slowly, piece by piece, you build an identity. Now that identity is running like an invisible software. You wake up as that person, you think as that person, you make decisions as that person, you even sabotage yourself as that person, not because you want to, but because your brain wants consistency. It would rather shrink your potential than let you step into the unknown. Let that sink in. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to make you predictable, safe, even if that sense of security is keeping you diminished and unhappy. Ever noticed how someone can say, I am not confident, while wearing a great outfit, looking amazing, and still thinking, I look weird? At this point, confidence isn't an issue. Your self-image is outdated software. You are running version 2015 you. And we just need a system update. Have you ever tried to change your life? Maybe you told yourself, from tomorrow I will wake up early. I will work out consistently. I will study hard. And maybe for a few days you actually did. Then suddenly you stopped and you told yourself, I have no consistency. I always fail. And then you go back to your familiar self. But what if that's not the real reason? The real reason is this. Your self-image pulled you back because your brain protects identity more than goals. If your self-image says, I am lazy, productivity feels unnatural. If your self-image says, I am awkward, confidence feels fake. If your self-image says, I am a failure, success feels impossible. So what happens? You slowly return to the familiar version of yourself. Not because you lack discipline, but because you have identity conflict. And identity conflict always wins. This is why two people can read the same book and only one changes. Because information doesn't transform people, identity does. There is something nobody tells you about self-image. Yes, it limits confidence. Yes, it limits growth. But the worst part, it quietly steals your freedom. Because when your self-image is controlling you, you stop making decisions based on your curiosity. You start making them based on protection. You don't ask, what do I want to try? You ask, what if I fail? And slowly, without even realizing, you start living a smaller life. Not because you have smaller dreams, but because you have a fragile self-image. Most people aren't afraid of failing. They are afraid of being beginners. Beginners are awkward. beginners make mistake, beginners look unsure. And if your self-image is built around being the smart one, the responsible one, the good girl, then trying something new feels dangerous because beginners don't look perfect and your self-image wants to look consistent. So instead of trying something new, you stay where you already know who you are, even if that place is limiting you. It's honestly funny when you think about it. We scroll social media for 3 hours watching people do amazing things and we say, I wish I could do that. No, you don't. Because if you really wanted that, you would accept being bad at it first. Nobody wants their 0 views era. Everybody wants the overnight influencer success. Think about all the things you could have tried by now if you weren't worried about how it would look. You would have started a YouTube channel, started something creative, learned a new skill, started working out consistently, spoken in class, changed your style, moved somewhere new. But self-image whispered 3 quiet words. That's not me. And you believed it. Those 3 words have stopped more dreams than failure ever has. Self-image creates an invisible cage, not made of rules, made of identity. You tell yourself, I am not that kind of person. But the truth is, there is no that kind of person. There are only people who tried long enough. Confidence isn't personality, it's exposure. Skill isn't talent, it's repetition. Identity isn't destiny, it's memory. And memory can be rewritten. Now imagine something radical. Imagine living without asking, does this fit my personality? Imagine choosing based on, does this excite me? Imagine signing up for something without already knowing how good you will be at it. Imagine posting something without overthinking about it for 2 days. Imagine trying something just because you're curious. That's freedom. Real freedom. Not the kind that looks aesthetic on Instagram. The kind where your mind finally feels light. When you stop protecting your self-image, something unexpected happens. Something most people never experience. And it changes the way you see yourself. When you allow yourself to be a beginner, your identity expands. You stop being one type of person and you become someone who can evolve, someone who learns quickly, someone who adapts, someone who grows. And suddenly, failure stops feeling like a proof that you're not good enough and starts feeling like a proof that you tried something new. Because the longer you avoid being a beginner, the more your comfort zone becomes your personality. And one day, you wake up realizing you didn't stay the same because you wanted to. You stayed the same because it felt safer. People respond to your self-image, not to your potential. If you see yourself as invisible, you behave invisibly. If you see yourself as confident, you behave confidently. If you see yourself as valuable, you set standards and the world adjusts. This is why 2 girls can have similar looks, have similar backgrounds, similar intelligence, but completely different lifestyles. Because one sees herself as that girl and the other sees herself as just me. And no, I am just a simple girl. That's not a personality trait. That's usually a confidence defense mechanism. Because if you expect nothing, you don't get disappointed. You just stay the same. So if your self-image is controlling your choices, limiting your risk, stopping your growth, the real question is, how do you rebuild a self-image that gives you freedom instead of fear? Here's the answer. Self-image changes through identity decisions. Not motivation, not aesthetic routines, identity decisions. You must decide who you are becoming before the evidence appears, before the confidence, before results. Because confidence follows identity, not the other way around. Step 1. Choose your future identity. Who is this version of you that you admire? Maybe she's calm, she's confident, she's disciplined, she's elegant, she's focused. Write her down. That's your identity blueprint. And no, future me wakes up at 4 a.m., drinks green juice, journals for 3 hours. That's not a personality, baby girl. That's punishment. And we are not building a robot, we are building a human. Step 2. Act like her before you feel like her. Confidence comes after action. So speak slightly louder, stand slightly taller, post that video, share your opinion, take the opportunity. Your brain gathers new evidence and slowly your identity updates. Final rule: stop enforcing the old identity. No more saying, I am awkward, I am not confident, I am shy. Not even as a joke, because your brain doesn't understand sarcasm. It only understands repetition. Think about who you were 5 years ago. Different fears, different beliefs, different priorities. You already changed once, which means change isn't impossible, it's inevitable. The question is, would you direct it or drift into it? Some girls your age are discovering the confidence right now. They are learning to speak, to grow, to evolve, to create. Not because they are better, but because they changed their self-image sooner. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. Not impossible, but harder. So here's what I want you to do right after this video. Take your phone or notebook and write 3 things. Number 1, the old identity you are leaving behind. Number 2, the person you are becoming. Number 3, one action you will take today. Because awareness without action becomes regret, and you deserve more than that. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and until next time, bye.